Welcome back to Comment with me, George Galloway, here on Press TV, which remains the voice of the voiceless. This is the great debate, the big conversation. That's why we need your calls, your SMS and your emails. The contact details are being given on the screen now. We're talking about the murder in Woolwich yesterday of a 25-year-old British soldier, unarmed, not in uniform, not in war, working in the recruitment side of the business and occasionally playing the drums outside the Queen's royal palaces. Two men set about him with knives and meat cleavers in broad daylight in front of scores of witnesses, mainly women and children, and chopped him to death. They did, however, spare the women and children, indeed had political conversations with the women who were witnesses to the crime. Unlike the US drones, which kill women and children and men indiscriminately, President Obama says, you don't see them coming. You don't. Not until your wife has her head chopped off by them. And Israel, it turns out, is one of the world's biggest exporters of drones. New figures released showed that 49 countries are buying Israeli drones. And the business is worth $400 million a year to the settler state. So, what's the next call? It's Hafiz Bamba from Scotland about Woolwich. Hafiz, welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to also contribute on the barbaric incident that happened yesterday.
Welcome.
I'm really happy with the way everybody came out boldly to condemn the act, what happened yesterday. And I'm pleading to all Muslims to also come out to all over the world to condemn the stupid thing that happened yesterday. It's absolutely nonsense what the guys did. And in fact, we didn't support it at all, what they did. And secondly, I'm also pleading to the Muslim community in UK in general. They should try and then help those who are against these barbaric things to also come out to speak out in the media for people to hear what these people are doing is absolutely wrong. If I supposed to be let's say the Prime Minister of this country, I will send him back to the barracks for them to show them lesson before bringing them to court, because it's absolutely nonsense what they did. It's absolutely unacceptable. And I thank all, including the Prime Minister and everybody, the Muslim community, for coming out boldly to condemn this stupid act that happened yesterday. In fact, those people who were involved, those who did that act should be punished seriously, and everybody should come out to support the punishment that they are going to give to them.
Okay, thanks Hafiz for that call from Scotland. Hasib is on the line from Batley in Yorkshire, near my own Bradford constituency, on the same subject. Hasib, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, George.
Alaikum salam, brother, go on.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm a great fan. I saw you at Batley this year. I was actually behind you on stage. But
okay, that was a very good meeting. I remember that. Give Yusuf my regards. Go ahead.
I just want to talk about the attack in Woolwich.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to condemn this, first of all. It was an act of murder, most heinous, and I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. But it leads me on to my main point. I want to know is why Mr. Cameron condemns this attack and yet he refuses to condemn the butchering that he is helping to fund in Syria.
Quite.
And my other point is...
do you know, Hasib, let me interrupt you just for a second. Do you know that David Cameron was in Paris when this crime took place yesterday, but where do you think William Hague was? He was actually in Jordan delivering the money to the people who are cutting people's chests and eating their hearts and livers on video. That's where William Hague, the Foreign Secretary, was just yesterday as this murder was taking place in London. You really couldn't make it up, Hasib.
George, I think that's what they call Western democracy.
Well, it staggers me. I've asked this in Parliament, on television, everywhere. What kind of Syria do they imagine would we have, would everybody have, anybody have, if these heart and liver eating cannibals were in control of the country? How could that possibly be in anybody's interest. In which case, why are you paying for it to happen?
Yeah, I agree absolutely, George. My second point is though, I mean, you know, these attacks, this is a byproduct of terrorism. If you want to fight the causes of terrorism, like you said, you have to stop intervening and killing innocent people in the Arab world.
Yeah, that's what's fanaticizing people, yeah.
I mean, you know, you can't go into somebody's country, destroy it, build on top of it, and then complain that they're breathing the same air as you.
Indeed, exactly, exactly.
Ridiculous.
The empire strikes back, Hasib. Great call, and I hope to hear from you again regularly. Hussein's in London on the same subject. Hussein, welcome.
Yeah, hello. Hello, George Galloway. How are you?
By the grace of God, good. Go ahead, sir.
Yes. And I would like to thank you, and because in the Quran we have 25 prophets who are mentioned by Allah in the Quran, and all of them, they speak to the people and they tell them to do good, and whenever these tyrants, they stand right in their face and they tell them no, and they talk very loud and they tell them to do not to do bad things. So, and I see you and always in Parliament and everywhere you're talking that even if it's your government, you tell them no. And I would like to say that one day, you know, you will meet your God and He will reward you for, you know, talking so loud. And I know people might say, you know, you are not good, but the prophets in the Quran, they have been also called the same. So you are a man we always look forward to. But the other thing which happened yesterday, and that is unacceptable because, and they said, they were saying an eye for an eye, but you know, the one who shot somebody in Afghanistan is not the same man. So the Quran says an eye for an eye means if you slap me, I slap you back. But I can't slap your daughter or your brother or your sister or somebody else who is in your family. So that those men did is unacceptable, and that is an act, you know, that's purely evil. So, but the other thing that happened yesterday is the good thing was that these men were arrested. So, and I'm asking, and the people who are killed by the drones in Afghanistan and Pakistan and Somalia or whatever, who will arrest them? Because this man, luckily yesterday, these guys were arrested. So I'm asking, who will arrest?
Well, that's right.
Killing,
that's right.
In Pakistan and Afghanistan, and they're going for a wedding, and the drone killed them, and then America says we are sorry, you know. And I'm even hearing that the guys who are operating the drones, what they say let's go and play the computer games. They call it computer games. You know, these guys just go and play
exactly.
computer things, and then they hit the drone. So I'm asking, the UK government should know that if they have hit the right spot in Afghanistan, killing terrorists, that is fine. But if they're hitting the bad spots in Somalia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and yet they only say we are sorry, that's not enough because there are families whose children were butchered. So I personally am not happy with the man who was killed yesterday in Woolwich. I was so sad. But the other thing is, how should the government of UK should come out and say, we have killed this number of people in Pakistan, in Somalia, in Afghanistan, and the US, Barack Obama was speaking today, as we are speaking 5 minutes, 20 minutes before you, he was speaking live. He should also say, and even the David Cameron should say, we have killed just like this man, and they should not only say sorry because this man was arrested and he will go to court. But those people who killed Pakistanis, Somalis, Afghanistan, and people the Israelis who are killing in Palestine, you know, and they're saying, oh, sorry, we are sorry, that was a missed target.
Exactly. There's no fair trials, no fair trials for those people, Hussein. Yes, there's no trials at all for the people in Guantanamo Bay who have now been on hunger strike for more than 100 days. Some of them have been there now for 11 years, without charge, without trial, without any conviction, without any idea of why they're there. A living hell, a living death. These are the kind of things that are radicalizing Muslims in the world. Hussein, thanks for that call. Now to Husseini in London on both those subjects, Woolwich and the drones. Husseini, welcome.
Hello there, George Galloway.
Welcome, sir. Go ahead.
Firstly, I would like to thank God again for giving me the opportunity to speak to you.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Basically, what I wanted to do was just send a message to two parties in particular. Firstly, those who are watching today's show, and the British government, and any parties.
You can be sure they're watching the show also.
Sorry?
They're also watching the show, or at least people are on their behalf.
Okay, basically, firstly, as a Muslim, I would like to condemn what happened yesterday. I have nothing to do with that person. I'm speaking as the ideology of moderate Islam. I have nothing to do with those people. Those people do not represent me and they do not represent God, firstly. So let's just make that fact clear. Secondly, my question for the British government is, firstly, I know Brother Hasib before, he touched on this before, but I just wanted to go over it one more time, was at the same time, can you just imagine, George, say if that person cut into the chest of that person and ate his heart, can you imagine the media reaction here in the UK? I mean...
Exactly, yeah. Imagine if these killers yesterday had gone on to do what the guy whose wages we are paying did to the dead soldier in Syria. Cut open his chest, took out his heart and liver and ate it on video. Can you imagine if these people had done that in Woolwich yesterday? As you say, the timber would be shaking in the state, even more than it is today with what happened. And yet we paid that guy who ate that heart. And Hague was in Jordan yesterday to give them even more of our austerity money.
Of course, George. And another thing I wanted to go over is, obviously we should consider our priorities. Of course, I'm a proud British Muslim. I'm proud of the fact that I'm British, and I'm proud of the fact that I'm a Muslim. But as a proud British Muslim, I would like to recommend my government to stop being hypocrites, firstly, and basically practice what they preach. Secondly, what I wanted to talk about was basically the situation in Saudi Arabia and Bahrain. Slightly off topic, but basically it's something which has been troubling me a lot, and I wanted to bring this out to a lot of people. Basically, you can't decide as a government, for example, let's say Saudi Arabia, you can't fund an army to stop protests in one place like Bahrain, and then go somewhere else like in Syria and then support rebels. It's just hypocrisy, and I think...
Well, hypocrisy is their middle name, Husseini, so don't be surprised about that. Hypocrisy is their middle name. Thanks for the call. Got to cut you off because so many people want to get on this argument. Farah is in London, and I do like to have women as well as male callers, so we're going to prioritize her. Farah, you're welcome to the show. Go ahead.
Good evening, George. Thank you so much for allowing me to have a couple of seconds or a few minutes to make a comment. Firstly, great to watch you speak up, take a stand, and actually articulate what a lot of us feel and are unable to have that podium or stand. Coming back to what happened yesterday in Woolwich, I'm a Muslim and I completely condemn this barbaric act. I don't think not just any Muslim but any human who has even an ounce of humanity would condemn this. However, I fail to understand the double standards, the hypocrisy that the Western governments, that the Western countries and the media practice. I'm originally from Pakistan. Over 35 to 40,000 Pakistani men, children, women have been killed by drones, and they're called collateral damage, or collateral loss, sorry. Nothing is done about them. We fail to stop the Western governments, including America and other countries, attacking our country, a sovereign country, coming into our airspace. But what I feel with this happening, with all these drones, $400 million a year given to the Zionists to manufacture these, I get this really strong feeling, George, that this all revolves around money. Everything has to do with money. It doesn't matter how many humans are cut into pieces or shredded into pieces, especially if they're Muslims. Their lives do not matter. Thousands of Muslims are killed. Nobody bats an eyelid. One Westerner is unfortunately killed and hacked, and everybody goes up in arms. Look what has happened to Iraq. Look what's happened to Libya. They were all bosom buddies before. Now the same is being tried on Syria. The entire Middle Eastern map is being written, and we all know who for. So this is my take on it, and it's unfortunate and it's sad that people, some of the people, fail to see the bigger picture, what really is going on.
My goodness, Farah, what a wonderful call. I hope it won't be long before you call us again. That was Farah in Royal Ascot in England on Woolwich. Adam is calling from Somalia on Woolwich. Adam, welcome. Adam, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, George. Hello.
Go ahead, sir. You're on the air.
Greetings from Somaliland, Hargeisa.
Greetings to all my friends there in Somalia.
Yes. Well, we'd like to be called Somaliland, but nevertheless, I like to talk about what happened yesterday in Woolwich, and I think nothing can extenuate what happened yesterday and what these thugs have done to that man. That was barbaric. That was absolutely something that every human being should condemn. That kind of criminality. We know that there are so many unfair things being done to Muslims, but that doesn't mean that we will be having things like that.
No, of course. Adam, I'm going to cut you short only because of the quality of the line, though not the quality of the call, and also the marching hour. Nadir's on the line from Iran on Woolwich. Nadir, welcome to the show.
Hello, James. How are you?
Yeah, by the grace of God, I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay, I called to say that we are not in a position to condemn living people. They do act as they go out, like your conservative and like your whoever the Democrats in America. In the past history of our politics in West, always, when there's a conservative in England, there's always a Republican, so they don't get together and they don't shit on this earth. What they've done, they've gone, since both sides been Democrats and conservative, they've gone to all the Middle East. They destroyed everywhere. They cut heads in the middle of Baghdad, in the middle of Damascus, where the blood less colorful than the English blood.
Wow.
They lost millions.
Well, look, that's powerful. That's powerful, Nadir. And I'm going to leave that one there on the wall. Everyone heard it. Nazir from London on Woolwich. Nazir, welcome.
Hello, Mr. Galloway. Nice to talk to you.
And you, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for this topic. As a Muslim, we have to condemn this, and I think it is nothing to do with Islam, this killing. As in Holy Quran said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if anybody kill any innocent, it means it's kill the whole humanity. And that soldier was not in the fight, and there was not a harb. So, and I would say that is nothing to do with Islam. I don't know why these people use Islam name by this tragedy to put a bad name on Muslim. And as Muslim, we have to express that it's nothing to do with Islam. Islam never said to kill anybody like this.
Well, that's true, but the men were, of course, fanatic, extremist, sectarian Muslims, the kind that are killing people in Syria and elsewhere because they don't like the way that they pray or the nuance of difference that they have in interpretation, not just between Sunni and Shia, by the way, but within the Sunni trend in Islam also. The Mufti of Aleppo, the Sunni Mufti of Aleppo, was cruelly butchered, just like the man yesterday, by exactly the same kind of people who butchered the man yesterday. The difference is Britain paid those killers to kill the Mufti of Aleppo, and we are weeping, all of us, justifiably, over the terrible death suffered by that young man. And if the British people cannot see the hypocrisy and double standards in that, there's no hope for us. Abdul is on the line from Durham in England on US drones. Abdul, go ahead, sir.
Hello, George. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Go on.
I too would first like to condemn the ghastly and barbaric killing of the unarmed British Fusilier in Woolwich. I think he was not even in uniform, and like you say, it was probably just deprivation and lack of opportunities which made him join the army, and he must have had no say in being sent, because that decision was, of course, taken in Westminster by, you know, the posh boys who go to Oxford, Cambridge, and then form the Oxbridge Mafia, which has a big hold over the politics and business in our country. But still, I don't think they are the main. I mean, you know, Britain has only a small army, and it's just a token force they are sending. The main problem, I think, is the Christian fundamentalists in the deep south of America.
Well, that is a very big problem, Abdul, but we're going to have to talk about that another night, because I must squeeze in this last call from Fatima in London on Woolwich. The last word on tonight's comment. Fatima, welcome. Go ahead.
Hi, George. I just wanted to say great show.
Thank you.
I'm Fatima, and I'm 17, but basically I just wanted to say I was brought up here in London. I'm a Muslim, and I've got a lot of non-Muslim friends, and I'm really saddened upon what happened yesterday, so I'm not happy at all in any way. But I just wanted to say that just because of what happened yesterday doesn't mean we're all the same. And my question is, when are the Jews, the Zionists and the government, American government and British government, going to stop killing the children, the women, and the innocent people around the world? When they're going to stop killing them? Because at the end of the day, people are going to think that this is right for people to kill citizens in the world, because of the fact that we're seeing this happening in different countries, you know.
Well, look, Fatima, bring your friends around your television set next week, and we'll continue this debate. 17-year-old young Muslim women are a part of the audience we definitely wish to grow. And you asked a very good question. Muhammad Dadura, a little boy cowering behind his father, was murdered by the Zionist settler state, who have now added insult to injury by claiming that he isn't even dead. Even though people saw the little boy to his grave, even though his father weeps at the grave, until now, the Zionists, who can kill with impunity using American weapons and the international political support, go on. See you next week.
Hello, just comment your name and a number, and just make sure it's